Everybody, welcome to my Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn Live. Just wanted to jump on here and say hello and just to check in with how everybody is feeling. So, I did speak last week a lot about our body speaks to us with sensation. Our body speaks to us with, could be pain or tingling or like body numbness, or you could have digestive issues, or our body speaks to us often with some form of sensation which may not feel good, and often it's trying to tell us something like, hey, I'm not okay. So I'd love you to take time now just to check in and scan your body and really connect in, like, what's my body saying to me, what's happening in my world. And so I've spoken a lot on here about how we can have, pain or disease and illness, how stress in our lives, if it's physical stress, chemical stress, emotional stress, when there's stress in our lives, and if it's not processed, that can store in our bodies. When that stress is stored in our bodies, it stores as what I call a spinal blockage. A spinal blockage then, in turn, interferes with the messages from your brain. The brain up here sends down a spinal cord with all nerves that come and supply every organ, cell, tissue in the body. When there's a blockage, what happens is the messages from the brain don't get down to the rest of the body. It gets blocked. And that's what a spinal blockage is. And in the spinal flow technique, that's what my practitioners do. They look to find and locate blockages. How they do that is they do assessments. Like in the certification program, I teach assessments, gateway assessments, where they can monitor and check and see the structure and function of the body. So, one of the biggest questions that I get on here and that I want to really address now is, how do I find a spinal flow practitioner? And I'd love, if you're feeling like you're at home and you're like, I want help and I want support, like, please go and see one of my spinal flow practitioners. You can find them on my website. So if you have a look at spinalflowtechnique.com, you can search your area, you can put the area that you're in, and you can see if there's a spinal flow practitioner in your area. If there's not one in your area, I understand, keep searching back, and we're having more and more people that are becoming certified. So please, 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 have a look and find a practitioner. So if you're feeling like you're at home and you're thinking, things are not okay and I'm not sure, maybe you have pain or you have headaches or you have tingling or you just have low energy or you're not sleeping or you've got digestive issues or reproductive issues, then my question is, do you want to feel different? Do you want to feel different in your body? And if the answer for you is yes, then please go and see them. And the first thing to do is definitely not to be on the phone call and say, can you help me? Because they don't know that until they meet you. And it's not just meet you, they've got to do an assessment of your body. So when you come in to see them, what they're going to do is they're going to do an assessment of your gateways. They're going to see what's happening in your body. They're going to have a look at your posture. They're going to get you to lie down on their table, and they're going to have a feel of the vertebrae in your body to see what's moving, if there's blockages there. And then once they find all of that, they're going to sit you up and say, hey, this is what I found. This is what it means. This is what it looks like. And maybe they've found the reason why you're in pain, or you've got, some type of something going on. They may be able to correlate what's happening in your world compared to what they've found there. So that's what I would definitely recommend. I feel really blessed. I work very closely with my practitioners, and I've just got a bunch of beautiful people, and their mission is to make a big difference in the world. That's their whole mission, is to help people heal and to really be there for that. And I feel blessed because I get to surround myself with them. But for you guys as well, like for you guys that are watching this saying, but I've tried everything and nothing's worked for me, or, I don't feel good, then I'm like, go and try one more thing. That's what it was like for me before I created this modality. I had my own practice in Melbourne, in Australia. And I was always people's last resort. Like, they always came to me because they tried everything. Like, I've tried everything. I've given up. I'm like, please don't give up. Just please come in and let's just see what's going on. And then they would come in and then they were like, oh, they were glad they didn't give up because life changed and they felt better in their body and they had less blockages, more flow in the system and more healing. That is what spinal flow is about. It's about helping your body move towards greater healing and greater health always. The way we do that is helping your body connect to its own natural ability to heal, because your body's amazing and it's clever and it has the wisdom inside for healing to happen. And my spinal flow practitioners, what they do is they work on the access points. And the access points are areas where it's kind of like the opposite that you would think. So, there's areas in our body that we don't like, or they hurt, or they feel like, they're broken, they're blocked. In the spinal flow technique, we're aware of them. We're aware there's blockages and where they're creating lots of pain, disease, and illness. But that's not the areas that we contact for healing to happen. For healing, we actually flip it around and we make contact on the areas that feel good, where there's ease. They're called We call them access points, and they're areas where actually there's tissue around the brain called the meninges. It's areas where the meninges meet the bone, the vertebral bone. And when we make a contact there, we're speaking directly to the brain. And that contact brings in more flow, more life force, more energy into the body, more healing, which then in turn creates less blockages. So there's more ease in our clients. So that's kind of the philosophy. And with that as a philosophy, we're pretty good with that in life. Like, in life, we know how to do that with our mind. We know really well to focus on what works. A lot of us start the day and we're like, you know what? I'm starting the day and I'm going to think positive thoughts and I'm going to have a little bit of a gratitude practice because that's going to help me with the day. But many of us start the day and we think, we're going to think good thoughts, we're going to have a gratitude practice, but then we scan our body, we're like, oh, but my body hurts and I've got back pain and knee pain, I can barely walk. So we're actually focusing on what works in the mind, but we're coming to the body and we're bringing our attention to what doesn't work. What if we use the same principles that we use in the mind to the body? And we actually started the day and we focused on what works in the mind. And then we came to the body and we took a minute to really feel what works in the body and to bring our focus there. The mind and body connected. It's one organ. It's the same. So we have to really remember, if we're focusing on what works up here and what doesn't, we're in confusion. So I think it's a really good thing for you guys to really think about, because the body responds to what the mind thinks about. And when we can really focus on, it doesn't mean we don't want to be aware of, what's not working, like have awareness on it, about it, but bring our focus to what works. I learned this in my practice. So I had quite a busy practice and I worked for years and years and years as a spinal flow practitioner, helping many, many people with all types of pain, disease, illness, lots of stuff. And when I worked with the worst spines, where there was barely any movement and there was fusions and all this stuff was going on, and that was interfering with the digestive system and the reproductive system and everything in between, I realized that even though there was all this going on in the body, there was probably only 15 to 20% of the body that felt stuck and stressed and not functioning so well. There's another whole 80% that worked beautifully, but this 20% was causing so much havoc and so much pain and tension and interference that the whole focus is on that. And then my poor clients would start saying to me, my body's broken, everything hurts, my body doesn't work. And I was like, oh, hang on. I get that you're feeling like this. I get that it's changed your structure and your posture and your function, but it is in this area. There's actually another whole 80% of your spine that does feel amazing, that is working, that there is flow and there is ease. But I get in life when something causes pain and interference, we bring our attention to it straight away. So what if we practiced for our body what we practice for our minds? We're so good at our mind. A lot of us are really good at really changing the way we think. What if we could start to change the way we speak about the body, and we're aware of, the pain and the tension, the blockages, but what if we could bring our focus to what works? And you could do that now. The invitation right here is, if you would like to do that now, you could actually bring your focus in. You can close your eyes and take a few breaths and start to scan your body and find areas that feel good. Like, are there areas that do feel good, that have ease, that have flow, that have openness? And even if you feel like a little bit, even if it's just, like an eyelid or a little, little finger, bring your focus to there, because where we bring our focus is where we grow. And that's what happens in the spinal flow technique. When we bring our contact to the access point and we contact with our client on their access point, we're showing the brain where it works. And then what happens is we grow more areas and more areas and more areas that work full of ease, which creates less and less blockages. So it's a little bit of a summary of what we do, and the philosophy around the spinal flow technique. And for me, I've created the spinal flow technique because I have a real mission to help people heal. I have a real mission for people to know that the body does heal and you can feel better. And I know there's been stress and trauma and accidents and everything, but everything that I've seen in my practice is an amazing amount of change in people's bodies and people's lives. And so I'm just on here as a reminder to you, to let you know that your body's smart, it's intelligent, healing can happen. And how that can happen is for you to try, for you to really just say, you know what, go and book yourself into a spinal flow practitioner and just see what they say about your body. And just to really try, because you know what, you're just important. Like, you're important, your life is important, your body is important. And for you to really know that healing can happen, I want you to know that for yourself as well. So please, 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 please don't give up. Your body's important and you're important. And if there's a way that you can move towards healing, then please, reach out and contact one of our spinal flow practitioners. We have, part of the spinal flow certification program, we have 4 Zoom calls a week. So we're really supported in a community together. And I actually have that call now after this, where we get on together and, we just talk about, what happens in practice and like the healing stories that are happening. So I love it. And I love my role in, helping practitioners, see people and, help them move towards healing. So that's my little Facebook live today, is just to let you know that you're important. Your body is amazing. It's incredible. Even if you're suffering right now, even if you're suffering, your body is still amazing. It's still incredible. It still has everything inside it for healing to happen. So please don't give up on yourself or your body, because healing can happen and you can feel really different inside the body that you have already. Mwah. Big love to you guys. Thank you for joining me today.